All right, welcome everyone to the San Jose Creative Economy Fund information session. As Lorena mentioned, my name is Stephanie Barajas, Program Officer at the Center for Cultural Innovation. Thank you for joining us today. I am calling in today from unceded Ohlone land, also known as San Jose, California. I am a Mexican woman in her early 30s with medium length dark brown hair, wearing a blue sweater, gold hoops, and my background is blurred. So now we will start sharing screen. Just a second. Okay, perfect. So a little bit about today. During this info session, we will get to hear from our partners at the City of San Jose Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs, aka OCA, and then we will dive into the fund's guidelines and application, offer you some general application tips, and we will conclude with a Q&A. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the Director of Arts Industry Support at the San Jose Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs, Ron Muriera.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, and welcome everyone. Glad that you're able to join us this afternoon. My name is Ron Muriera, Arts Industry Support Director with the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs, specifically Office of Cultural Affairs. My pronouns are he, his. I'm a Filipino man with short black hair, wearing brown glasses and a light green shirt, and my background is blurred. I'd like to thank Stephanie and CCI for the opportunity to begin with a land acknowledgement. And afterwards, I will share just briefly some information about what OCA is all about and our partnership with CCI for this amazing program, which is the Creative Economy Fund. Our anti-racist journey in San Jose begins with the acknowledgement that we as settlers and displanted people reside on the unceded sacred land of the Tamian people. We are aware that the US began with the conquest and genocide of indigenous people and grew its wealth from enslaved Africans' forced labor. We here in San Jose offer a land acknowledgement to the ancestors, descendants of this land, who are now members of reorganized tribes and groups such as the Tamian tribe, Mawikma Ohlone tribe, the Confederated villages of Lishon and Himren of Ohlone, the Bay Miwok, Plains Miwok, Amamatsun tribal band, and the Indian Canyon Nation. They've inhabited and stewarded our unceded lands of the San Francisco Bay Area for thousands of years. We have much to learn from indigenous people, including the deep cultural and spiritual respect they demonstrate for our natural world. Wherever you are, we can all pause to acknowledge the Native people whose land we are on. Remember that the next step after acknowledging these communities is to learn more, particularly about how you can all support them directly. May we learn to walk in a humble and honorable way by acknowledging indigenous knowledge systems that lead to more sustainable and relational futures. So with that, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the Office of Cultural Affairs, if you're not familiar. The Office of Cultural Affairs, otherwise known as OCA, has been a division of the City of San Jose's Office of Economic Development for over 15 years. So in recognition of OCA's importance in being an integral contributor to San Jose's economic engine, the city realigned OCA within the Office of Economic Development, and we changed the department's name to the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs. And as you can see, we have up on the screen our mission and description of what our investment in the city is. Our mission is to champion San Jose's artistic and cultural vibrancy, and we accomplish this mission by proactively investing in the cultural and artistic vitality of San Jose by providing funding to the cultural arts organizations, individual artists and creatives in San Jose, as well as, most importantly, arts-based businesses. Additionally, OCA commissions public art projects, facilitates and produces special events, and oversees the stewardship of 6 city-owned cultural facilities. Now, the Creative Economy Fund, which was originally called the Creative Industries Incentive Fund, was established in partnership with our great partners, the Center for Cultural Innovation, who we've been working with for many years. And the intent is to provide project support to arts-rooted businesses of all types involved in the production and distribution of arts and culture. Our intent in establishing the Creative Economy Fund was to support projects aimed at building successful small businesses in San Jose that demonstrate community support, marketability, growth, and economic sustainability. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Stephanie, who'll talk more about some of the more details regarding the Creative Economy Fund. Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Ron. So again, as a proud San Jose resident and artist, I am so honored to be able to be in partnership with y'all and to be able to help bring this fund to the community. So for context, I also want to share a little bit more about CCI and what we do. So if you're new to our organization, we're a 501c3 nonprofit grant-making intermediary, a bit of a tongue twister, that was founded in 2001. We're headquartered in LA with an office in the Bay Area, and we have staff throughout the state and the US. So our focus is really on supporting individual artists and arts workers, which we do through commission research, grant-making programs such as the Creative Economy Fund, and advocacy. We also offer a range of regional and statewide grants, some longstanding and others that are one-time opportunities. And each of them usually have a different priority, such as supporting professional development activities, like we do through our quick grant, new work development, and creative entrepreneurs, all of which you can learn more about through the funding section of our website. And again, the common thread across all of our programs is that CCI supports individual artists and arts workers because unlike other grant-making intermediaries, we prioritize the flow of resources to individuals and not to organizations. And so we're gonna drop a couple of links, one to all of our funding opportunities, and the second one that would be helpful for you today, which is the webpage for the San Jose Creative Economy Fund, which has all of the information we'll review today, which is the guidelines, the application preview, FAQs, and then a timeline. So now onto the fund. So the San Jose Creative Economy Fund will award project grants to arts, cultural, and creative-based commercial businesses that are located in the city of San Jose and involved in the production or distribution of the arts, including manufacturers, service providers, presenters, and designers, among others. So funding will support projects and activities aimed at building successful arts, cultural, and creative-based small businesses in San Jose. Applicants can request between $1,000 and $8,000. And for this funding round, we have a total of $40,000 available. So some of you in attendance or watching today's recording may remember that the Creative Industries, may remember the Creative Industries Incentive Fund, or CIIF, which we administered in partnership with OCA for a while. So CIIF, yeah, another tongue twister, was the predecessor to the San Jose Creative Economy Fund, and it was offered between 2013 and 2020. It went on a hiatus during the pandemic, but the program was relaunched last year, and we're excited to be able to bring it back for a second round this year. So next slide. So who can apply for support through this program? So to be eligible for funding consideration, businesses must meet the following criteria. You have to be a commercial enterprise, and that includes small businesses and sole proprietorships. We've noted that the city of San Jose defines small businesses as those with 35 employees or less. And we've also pointed out that businesses do not have to have a brick and mortar, so they can be online storefronts or nomadic enterprises as examples. So if you're working from your house, your studio, you're still eligible. So now businesses must also be based in San Jose. They must primarily provide a cultural, creative, or arts-related service or product, meaning that the cultural, creative, or arts-related service or product must be the focus of the business, of the enterprise, and not just a one-time offering or the extension of a program that you run as well. It has to be the core of what you do. In order to be eligible, businesses also need to be in good standing with the city of San Jose, which is evidenced through possession of an active San Jose business tax certificate, also known as a business license or a business permit. which applicants will need to provide a copy of in the application. If you need to register or renew your business certificate, we've embedded a link in the presentation deck, which you should have access to. It's also available in the guidelines, in the FAQs. And we've also linked a sample of the certificate, just in case you're wondering what it looks like, or if you have it, or if it's something else. Through the link, you're also able to check whether you're in good standing. And again, you can renew or get one if you still haven't. So, and if applicable, you must also be in good standing with the City of San Jose. And this would be evidenced through fulfillment of OCA or any other city department's funding requirements, such as a final report or any other deliverables. So if you receive funding through the city, you want to make sure that you've met any deadlines or requirements before applying to the Creative Economy Fund. Finally, to be eligible for funding consideration, businesses cannot have a conflict of interest with the board, staff, directors of CCI or OCA. And at CCI, we define conflicts of interest as existing familial connections or an active financial relationship between the parties and the applicant. And if you do have questions about whether something might be deemed a conflict of interest, feel free to reach out to us. You can drop your question in the chat, or you can email us or call us. So next slide. Okay, so more eligibility. So we also want to be clear that businesses can apply only once. In other words, businesses cannot submit separate applications for different projects. Similarly, individuals who own or operate multiple businesses can apply only once for only one business. So we will not accept multiple applications for the same or from the same proprietor. So this is so we can support as many unique applicants as possible in a competitive application process. I also want to note that past Creative Incentive Industry Fund grantees and current Creative Economy Fund grantees are eligible to apply as long as a final report has been submitted and approved by CCI prior to the application deadline, which is on June 17th of this year. So please do note that first-time applicants may be prioritized. Again, so because CEF is unique in its support of commercial enterprises, we also want to point out the types of entities and projects that are ineligible for funding consideration. So that includes nonprofits, individuals, organizations, or projects that will use a fiscal sponsor to receive grant funds if funding is approved, businesses that are not arts, culture, or creative based. Again, if your business does not primarily deal in the arts, culture, or creative based enterprise product services, then you're not eligible for this particular grant. Projects that have already been funded through another OCA grant, projects that have already taken place, meaning so funding can only be applied to expenses accrued during the grant period, and funding cannot be used to, let's say, reimburse for something that was done in the past or prior to the beginning of the grant period. And finally, incomplete Creative Economy Fund applications will be ineligible for funding consideration. So we ask that you check all links, all documents to ensure that you're providing us all of the information that the application is requesting. So next slide. If you're wondering what kinds of projects might be funded through the Creative Economy Fund, we've listed a few examples, some of which were inspired by past grantees, which, by the way, you can learn more about in our past recipient directory, which we've linked at the bottom of this slide. Again, we did drop a link to the slide so you can go and follow along. And then you can also learn more about last year's grantees and their projects by reading the 2023 press release, which we have also linked in this slide. At the end of the presentation, we can go ahead and share those as well in the chat. It's just easier for us this way. So some of the examples include storefront or other commercial space improvements that enhance the business's curb appeal, safety, or economic vitality. I know that Los Laureles de San Jose, who were one of our last year grantees, some of the funds that they got were used to create a sign in order to gain more visitors and people to sign up for their classes and stuff like that. Another example includes seed money for a marketing launch for a particular arts-related service or product, hiring additional staff or team members to support the holiday season or particularly busy season for your business, purchasing a new HVAC system to address safety protocols, hiring a mentor, coach, or consultant for capacity building, strategic business planning, or marketing support to grow your business or build financial resilience. Purchasing equipment or technology products that will bring your business to the next level. Like let's say you make prints and you need a new printer, a printer that does better quality prints, something like that would also be eligible and competitive. And also producing pop-ups, festivals, or any other events that center local artists and arts-based micro businesses. Another one of our 2023 grantees was SJ Made, and specifically their upcoming SJ Made Fest. So know that these are just examples. There are all kinds of projects and expenses that would be eligible. And we really are looking to you to let us know, like, what is it that you need in order to address the needs of your business. So next slide. So who will make decisions and how? So CCI and OCA will invite panelists with various backgrounds and expertise in the arts-based business development, and other related fields in San Jose to review eligible applications and make award recommendations. So to inform their review, panelists will evaluate businesses and their proposed projects by their ability to, 1, contribute to San Jose's cultural vibrancy, 2, show evidence or signs of readiness for project launch or implementation, meaning are you ready to take on this project? To grow and achieve greater financial resilience. So how is this funding going to help you both grow and achieve greater financial resilience? And lastly, they must also demonstrate an economic impact in the city of San Jose. And this can look a lot of different ways, but some examples are attracting visitors to the city, generating sales tax through the sales of products, or even creating jobs for local artists and just workers in the area. Panelists will also aim to ensure that they recommend grantees that reflect the city's diverse cultural communities and creative-based commercial landscape. To that end, the panel will seek to balance the final grantee pool across factors which include geography, disciplines, communities served, and cultural form and or tradition represented. So next slide. So now into the application. So first, applications must be submitted through Submittable, which is CCI's online grants platform. We've listed the application sections with a brief description on this slide, and we also have a complete application preview available on CCI's website and the Creative Economy webpage, which we've linked earlier during the presentation. So the application consists of these required sections. 1, we're requiring business information. So this section asks for information such as the year the business was established, a brief description of the business, and if possible, we encourage you to explain how the arts, creative, cultural services or product, again, are central to the work that you're doing. The number of workers that you are currently employing, revenue from the business's most recently filed taxes. And then this year, we've added a section for you to be able to share more information regarding your revenue in case there's anything that you want to explain or that you want the panelists to consider as they review your application. We also ask whether the business has received funding from the city, and if so, through which program and when. And finally, you'll also be asked to upload a copy of your active business tax certificate, which, by the way, if you're registering your business and don't have yet the active certificate, you can upload confirmation of your successful tax payment. So again, if you don't have the active tax certificate, you can upload the receipt or the confirmation email to show that you've already processed the renewal. Next, we'll collect the primary contact information. So that's the person who would be the lead for the project or the main contact that you want us to have for the business. So we're asking for their name, phone, and email for the person, again, who's completing the application and who will be the primary contact. And then we have the proposal details. So this section asks for the amount that you're requesting, and we encourage you to ask for the actual amount you need. So don't ask for less because you think that might make you look more competitive. We really want to understand how much funding you need in order to successfully launch this project. And then we are also requesting 1 to 2 sentence description of the request. So meaning, what is the funding going to support? And then we have the narrative. So these are going to be 4 questions that will ask you to provide more detailed description of the business. Again, we really encourage you to let us know how the arts or the creative product that you offer or service that you offer is central to the business. A project description, the project outcomes, and how these align with the evaluation criteria, as well as team bios. So who are the individuals or the individual who will be involved with making sure that this project happens. We're also requesting a budget. So you'll upload a 1-page budget where you'll need to itemize your project expenses and identify any additional income sources beyond the Creative Economy Fund grant. There is a required budget notes section. You can technically bypass this section by entering NA, but we strongly encourage you to add notes. So you should absolutely take advantage of this section by explaining the rationale for your expenses. And if you've identified additional income sources, tell us about the likelihood of these or how you arrived at your projections. Finally, we have a project budget template available on our website, which you're welcome to use, but also if you have another template that works for you that lists all of the different things we're asking you for, then please go ahead, use that. It is totally optional to use our template. And then support materials will also be requested, and we'll talk about this in just a minute. And then finally, the last section of the application is the award administration information. So if you're awarded funding, this section is meant to help CCI prepare your contract and get you paid faster. So for this section, you'll confirm who will be the contract signatory, and you'll also provide a representative image of your business, and then give us the photo credit information because we want to make sure that we credit the photographers. So next slide. Now we'll talk about support materials. So again, support materials should accompany the review of applications and are critical in helping panelists get acquainted with your business beyond what you've already shared in the narrative section. So as a rule of thumb, we recommend selecting recent support materials, 2019 or later. And if you're able to, materials should also be directly related to the project that you're hoping to get funding for, or that just show kind of the breadth of the work that you do. So for the CEF support materials, only 1 is required. However, you can submit up to 3. We'll accept video up to 5 minutes and text or image-based support materials, and you can upload up to 5 of those. So panelists will review materials for up to 5 minutes in total. If you're submitting more than one type of support material, you cannot submit the recommended total for each type. For example, you can submit a 3-minute video and 2 pages of text. So we are saying that 1 page equals 1 minute of review. But you can't submit like 5 minutes of video and then 5 pages, right? Like it has to be 5 minutes in total. Panelists will not review after that. So if there's like really important information or like a really compelling piece of support materials that happens in minute 7, then they won't see it. So you want to make sure that you're really crafting those materials to be in the 5-minute zone. So support materials must be uploaded directly to the submittable platform, and we will not accept documents that link to an outside platform. So each uploaded support material will need to have a 1 to 2 sentence description that provides contextual information and viewing or playback instructions if applicable. So there's going to be a field in the application where you can say like support material 1. This is a photo of our brick and mortar space, and we're requesting funding for a sign that will go right above the door, right? Or this is a recap video of our last festival. Please watch from minute 2 to minute 4, right? So you want to include all that information so that panelists know exactly what they're looking at and they don't have questions. And lastly, for any technical assistance, please request support from Submittable. So if you're having any technical issues with the application itself, with the uploads or anything like that, you'd want to reach out to Submittable directly, because unfortunately that goes beyond what we're able to support with. So now onto the next slide, which is the timeline. So let's review some important dates. And I'm almost through. I've been talking for a long time, but let's review some important dates. So the CF application opened on April 24th at 9 a.m. and is now accessible through the CEF webpage. Again, we dropped this link. If you scroll down, you'll see an orange button that says, I believe, start your application. So just click on there and it's going to take you to Submittable. So this year we are hosting 3 drop-in Q&As, which are basically office hours. And those are going to take place on Friday, May 17th at noon, Tuesday, May 28th at 5 p.m., and Thursday, June 6th at 10 a.m. So I will be, most likely Lorena will be joining me. So the two of us will be available on a Zoom room where applicants can drop in and ask grant-related questions. So this won't be a formal presentation. They won't be recorded either, but rather it's going to be an opportunity for you to casually drop in, ask any questions that are coming up for you as you work on your application, and for you to get an answer in real time. You're also welcome to stay for the whole hour. You're welcome to come in, ask your question, and then go. But please note that you will need to register for these. The registration links are embedded in the slide, and they're also in our webpage. They're available in the guidelines, and they're also available in the FAQs. So you can find the link in many places. Let's see. And then last, we ask that if you are planning to join one of those drop-in sessions, in order for us to use our time efficiently and to answer as many of your questions as possible, we ask that you review this webinar, that you review the guidelines, the FAQs, the application preview in advance, so that we can really focus on any questions that maybe weren't clear or anything else that wasn't already covered in all of these materials that we've already prepared for you. And then finally, the application closes on Monday, June 17 at 11:59 a.m. And that's 11:59 a.m. in the morning, not p.m. A lot of people get confused. So please make sure to save that on your calendars. we want to make sure that you submit on time. Unfortunately, we're not able to make exceptions to the deadline. So all applicants will be notified regarding their application status on Tuesday, September 17th by 5:30 p.m. We ask that you check your spam folder if you haven't heard from CCI by the promised notification date and time. You can also view your application status by logging into your submittable account. So please do that before you reach out to us. Again, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, but we always get back to everybody by the notification date. So the message will be either in your email, in your spam folder, and in your submittable account. And lastly, the grant period of support will be through September 2024 through September 2025, or 2024 and September 2025. And the next slide, which will be our last slide. So application tips. We want to make sure that we share with you a few general tips that are going to help you as you work on your Creative Economy Fund applications and any other grant applications in general. So first, again, we ask that you review all ephemera. That means all of the materials provided. That includes guidelines, FAQs, the application preview, this info session. They're all a resource for you, so please take advantage of them. We spent a lot of time putting these together, trying to anticipate questions that you may have. So again, a lot of information is already on there, and we ask that you review it. Second, we encourage you to attend a drop-in Q&A and to receive support from staff in real time. Also, make sure that you answer the question being asked, all of the questions being asked. So yeah, we encourage you to address or to make sure that you address all that's being asked of you. So for example, the narrative asks you to describe your proposed project, including what funding will support, the scope of work, the current stage of development, a timeline, and specific goals. So that's actually 6 prompts in one question. And in order for you to submit a competitive and compelling application, you're going to need to cover all those 6 prompts. A lot of the times people will cover 1 or 2, and then panelists are left with a lot of questions. So again, make sure that you read the question, understand all of the different prompts and things that are being asked of you, and make sure that you address all of them. And then we also encourage you and recommend that you're clear and to the point. So avoid responses that are overly technical or dense or abstract. We really value quality over quantity. And something that I like telling folks as they're getting ready to apply to a grant is assume that we don't know anything about you, anything about what we do, or about what you do. And so when you're completing these applications, you really want to paint a full picture, right? Like if I don't know anything about who you are and what you do, you're going to have to explain it to me. So think about it in that sense. Then we also recommend having a friend look over your application to see if any important details were left out or whether anything is unclear. So just getting a fresh set of eyes to look through. Again, you may want to get a friend who's not very familiar with what you do, who may not be an artist or a creative themselves, to look at it and see if they have any questions about what you've written. And we also really want to emphasize that we want you to apply early. So apply before the deadline to avoid running into any technical issues or anything else that could happen, right? Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So thinking about that, we encourage you to apply at least a day in advance. Another advantage of applying early is that if you realize that you've made a mistake or left something out, you have the opportunity to edit your application and resubmit it. You would just have to send us a quick message saying that you want us to open up your application, and we can do that. Again, if you have any broken links, if you've uploaded the wrong document instead of your budget, unfortunately, that will deem the application ineligible. So you want to make sure that you've uploaded all of the right materials. And lastly, we encourage you to reach out to CCI staff with questions. We're here to support you. You can contact us by email at grants@cciarts.org. Make sure to include SJ Creative Economy Fund in the subject line, or you can call us at 415-288-0530. We recommend scheduling a time to speak to us using our Calendly booking page. We're dropping that link in the chat along with a couple of other links. And just want to remind you, as a small team that works mainly remotely, email and appointments are the best way to reach us. So that's it for me for now. We'll stop sharing the screen, and now we'll move on into the Q&A portion of this info session. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat. You can raise your virtual hand or your actual hand if you're not sure how to raise a virtual one. And Lorena is going to help us moderate. So we'll go between raised hands and then questions in the chat. And if no one has any questions, I can share the webpage. I can share screen and share the webpage so that you can see kind of where like everything is located. But again, this time is for you. So yeah, let's get started. And I don't know if Danielle or Ron, if you want to say something that maybe I missed or that you want to emphasize.
No, you did a great job, Stephanie. That's why we really appreciate working with CCI. You're a very clear, concise partner when it comes to grants for individual artists and creatives. So thank you so much for this very in-depth presentation and informational session.
Of course, thank you, Ron.
So we have one question.
Cindy, yeah.
Oh, go right ahead then.
You can go ahead and read it. It's okay.
Oh, I thought you had something to say. Sorry. Okay. So we do have a question in the chat. It just popped up from Cindy. So can applicants apply for the grant if they received funding in the previous year, like back to back?
Yes. So if you're a 2023 grantee, you are eligible to apply for this round of funding as long as you submitted your final report. So if you've submitted your final report and it has been approved by CCI prior to the deadline, which is June 17th, then you're able to apply again and receive funding if you get selected. But I do want to emphasize that we will prioritize first time applicants and folks who haven't received funding through the program. So if we have a especially competitive round, then again, we will prioritize those who haven't received funding through this program before.
I'm not seeing any other question. Okay. Are we able to apply under a business DBA, doing business as?
Yes. I think you would, again, as long as you meet the other requirements, you can do that. And if it's only one business, right? So like if you have your main business and then also business DBA, then you would have to choose which one you're applying under. And then the tax certificate, and then Danielle, Ron, I may need your help here with this, but the tax certificate would be under the main business. I always have questions.
I think I'm not 100% certain, but I think it can be into the DBA. One of the questions we had last year was like, where your business was incorporated, because a lot of, you made all your operations and everything in San Jose, but you could have incorporated in Delaware. That's fine, totally fine to incorporate out of the area as long as the business that you and the business are here locally. So I think that for our records, we just want to match the business license to the company name. And you could even, I think that's possible even to put in to there, because I know that when we were filling out contracts and stuff, we can put the official name, and then we can put and then it does have a line that says for the DBA, so you can do that as well.
Oh, Thanks, Audrey, for that question. Next question, and thanks, Danielle, for answering. Next question is from Brayos. We have, if we don't have a business license, can we apply while the license is in process?
Yes. So if you've applied for one and it's in process, then what you can do is submit a receipt or a copy of the confirmation saying that you've already applied, paid for it, and it's in process. And then once it comes through, you can either, right, like if it happens before the deadline, you can send it to us, and we can open up your application for you to submit the actual tax certificate. And if it happens after the deadline, you can still email us and let us know, hey, it came through, here's a copy, and then we'll just save it under your application.
Cool. Thanks, Stephanie, and thanks, Rayos, for the question. All right, so right now it's looking kind of quiet unless someone wants to add a question now. Stephanie did great, did do a fantastic job at detailing out everything. So it probably is a lot to digest. That's okay. You don't have to have your questions now. Please feel free to contact us as soon as you do have questions. Look at our website, multiple ways on how to reach us. Thanks, Stephanie, for adding the tax certificate sample there. So we'll be staying on. We still have about 14 minutes before 1. So we'll stay on the, I wanted to say we'll stay on the line like a radio station, but we'll stay here available for y'all another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. So yes, I dropped the sample. Again, people got a little bit confused last year as to what the actual license or tax certificate looked like. So OCA helped us out and gave us a sample copy so you can see exactly what the form should look like. And then again, we're hosting 3 drop-ins. You can register for those. We encourage you to attend those. If you do have any other questions that come up as you're working on your application. But we thank all of you for being here, for being so attentive, and for your questions. I'm going to stop recording, but we'll stay on in case anything else comes up. Thank you.